All right, legends, price of Bitcoin, where we currently at is very confusing. We're going to go through the technical analysis, the most important levels for the price of Bitcoin to maintain as support or get rejected as resistance. And what are the highest probability moves that we could see during the weekend? So make sure to stay tuned. We have some incredibly bullish news, obviously, for Bitcoin and the crypto space. And make sure to absolutely destroy that like button on your way in, guys. I'm going to go first of all through the comment section, say hello to that beautiful community. And then we're going to go through multiple different scenarios. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the dollar index. We are going to take a look at some very interesting news that is happening. This is macro bullish. You will be surprised of the bullish news that there is there and bullish data, meaning that we are very likely in this reaccumulation stage and we should be hitting all-time high in the next coming weeks, guys. All of this is going to be explained in today's live stream. So let's dive in right away. Let's put some background music. Let's go quickly through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, and let's dive in here through the price of Bitcoin. There's no levels at all, guys. We're going to keep this educational. We are starting from scratch so we can get those levels on the chart so you can understand them, where we got rejected, where we bouncing. Looking at Elliot wave theory, we can pull out some harmonics and understand where is the highest probability move to happen. This is very disturbing without a doubt. If we are going to start breaking through here in the next coming hours, I am concerned of a possible impulsive wave or still part in a corrective structure here to then move down, just sweep up those highs in the next coming days. Weekends have usually been quite bullish for the price of Bitcoin. You're not getting selling pressure and you're actually getting some accumulation. So yeah, usually the weekends for the last several weeks have been quite bullish. Okay, so we'll go through, the different scenarios and levels on this stream. You can see there's a blank chart right there, and we're going to start pulling out some levels very nicely here on the chart so you can understand every single level, guys, and the possible scenarios. All right, keeping it educational as always and looking for those trading setups. I'm going to go through my trades. I'm going to go through one that I went here and just got stopped out at a minor loss, looking for a possible move down. However, very, very small position, already got stopped out from that position. And we'll be going through what I am looking next, obviously. And this live stream is going to be relatively long. So if we do get that opportunity live, without a doubt, we could do some live trading, all right? If those levels that are going to be mentioned in this live stream are going to be hit. And if not, they are ready for you to take them or me to take them afterwards, right? Between the next coming hours or between today and tomorrow. Let's go right away. Ahmed, how are you doing, my brother? Nathan, yes. Mustafa, I hope you're good. Great, Andy. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I hope you are doing absolutely great as well. Aditya, my brother, thanks for joining the stream. Good evening from Philippines, Daddy. Hello. Dump coming. Well, yeah. We could arguably discuss, all right, this is very disturbing corrective structure. We are forming a little bit of a, classic pattern here, symmetrical triangle formation. Could we get an explosive breakout? Will this be bullish? Will it be a fake out? And we're going to retrace back down. This is something that we are going to talk about, of course. But overall, most importantly, what if we do break out and during the weekend, we just breaking through $66,000? Will this be bullish? Will we see enough steam to continue to the upside? Or will this be the moment that we are going to get a pretty steep corrective move? This is something that I want to talk about. Of course, if we are going to roll down from this zone, what are the levels that we need to pay attention here for the next coming days, right? Most importantly, focusing on higher time frame just in case I don't do an update, tonight or tomorrow morning. So you have those levels, all right, ready for those trading setups. Let's go. Yes, hello, Nathan. How are you doing, my man? Master Goal. Hello from Dubai, says Benjamin. Hello from Dubai also. Nice to see you here. Nathan, bro, a question as I don't know what to do. Right, let's go with that Nathan question. 𝗕𝗏𝗆, my man, how are you doing, guys? If you haven't checked out 𝗕𝗏𝗆 already, He provides insane technical analysis and alpha. Go and check him out. He's here in the comment section. So Nathan, let's go through Nathan's question. Let's do some questions. First of all, why not? Let's go pay attention to the community, and then we'll go through the pure technical analysis. Bro, I don't know. I think selling 30% of my BTC at $72,000, then another 30% at 90K and hold the rest. Good plan. Let me know your thoughts. Well, taking profits is just great, right? Taking profits. Where is the price of Bitcoin going to peak out in this cycle? Will we go and hit a recession by the end of the year, and we are just not going to manage to go to $100,000 and $150,000 like a lot of bulls are expecting, right? Everything points out that we could be heading into a super cycle. So without a doubt, there's no top for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has no top. It does have bottoms, right? It does have bottoms. You have the bottom here from 2019, which was just slightly above $3,000. You have this local bottom in 2022, but it doesn't have tops, okay? So overall, taking profits near all-time high, or as you break in all-time high, is not a bad strategy, right? If you've been buying on a big pullback during the last few years, without a doubt, at all-time high is something smart to do to take some profits, right? Let's keep it simple here. If you ask me what are the target zones for this bull run, I'm going to say, I am leaning in between 120,000 and 150,000 potentially. But overall, yeah, we could hit $80,000, $90,000 without hitting the $100,000 mark, and then have that big, major pullback without reaching those targets. So taking profits at all-time high is something that we need to do, guys. All right. It's something that we need to do because there is that bearish case scenario. There is the, what if we do enter into a great depression, right? Just a great recession, just like 2008 or even worse. Bitcoin's not going to get saved. All markets will crash, and Bitcoin also will get that big major reaction, against the world economy, right? Because Bitcoin, if we are in recession, people are losing jobs. People don't want to have Bitcoin. People want to have cash. They want to be able to buy food, pay their bills, and rest of it, right? You just don't want to hold these risky assets. So yeah, Bitcoin is very bullish for the long term, but we never know what's around the corner. And around the corner, we do have a big recession, bubbling up, right? Which could happen in 2025, 2026. We don't really know. So without a doubt, taking profits here at the all-time high range is, hey, if you've been buying Bitcoin during the last few years and you're in some, a pretty nice 3-4x, I wouldn't sell everything. So that strategy of selling 30%, or 25% makes a lot of sense, just in case you do get that major corrective move in the next coming months, right? Couple of years. So, which would just bring another great opportunity, right? If Bitcoin were to start correcting in the coming months, entering into 2025, it's just going to bring a great opportunity for DCAing, guys, because without a doubt, Bitcoin will be hitting $100,000 and even $500,000 in the next coming years, okay? So I know we want to make some big gains, but regarding portfolio, hey, taking a bit of profits at all-time high is without a doubt a good strategy. Never fails. Buy the dip, get out, get slightly out at all-time highs. Never sell all of your Bitcoin just in case what is around the corner. That could be a super cycle and Bitcoin price is going to go much higher than what we expect, right? So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Market M, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Not a good idea, Nathan says Chris. Yeah, I mean, 30% looks a little bit aggressive. I would go a little bit less. I like selling 5% of my Bitcoin or 10% maybe at a max, okay? I did sell 25% of my entire portfolio back in April of 2021. This was just before the crash. This was mentioned on one of my videos and live streams, discussing this distribution. This distribution phase was quite easy to detect, and you had multiple technical analysts saying, this ain't looking very good. It looks very wedgy. It looks like we're losing momentum, and it was clearly a 3-peak here of a distribution phase. And I didn't sell anything until we got this major dropping here beneath this low, because this changed the market structure completely, right? You're having this uptrend, a bit of a ascending wedge, sorry. And as soon as we got this breakdown, that is the moment that I panicked a little bit, realizing that this could be a peak and a pure distribution phase, right? There were multiple analysts talking about this, and I was also talking about it because I like to take a look at Wyckoff accumulation and distribution phases, right? Just like the previous one of the reaccumulation that we mentioned during the last few days makes a lot of sense, right? This one right over here where we are talking about, the price actually, maybe not even getting this pullback, but overall looking for all-time high. This looks pretty solid. If you ask me, this is something that we have been talking about during the last few days. And I like to take a look at these accumulation schematics. Let me just upload the picture right over here. This is something that we have been talking about the last few days, and it makes a lot of sense that we are in this reaccumulation. We are following every single phase very nicely, okay? And we just finished the spring point, which is pointing out that all-time high is highly likely to be hit in the coming weeks, right? Could I say August? Could I say beginning of August? Could I say beginning of September? Well, it's just going to be in the next coming weeks, right? This ain't going to happen tomorrow. It ain't going to happen after tomorrow. It's probably going to get some corrective moves, but overall, we're looking for that momentum to continue. Everything points out that another all-time high is very likely in the coming weeks, just purely based on how the market is structured, right? The structure of this move, and not only just counting the ABC corrective move, obviously, which also something that we've been talking about for several weeks now, and even months, this being a C wave, right? Everything points out that this is corrective. We have the reaccumulation schematic. We are following the stages very nicely. We just slightly above the lower part of the creek phase, right? This descending channel that we formed during June, creating the spring point, right? Have we already formed the test, or are we going to form the test in the next coming days? Or will we get that pullback pretty aggressively to go to the low $60,000 levels? Well, this is something also that we can expect, right? So everything points out that reaccumulation schematic is looking very good here for the price of Bitcoin. Now, on the other phase here, we got the distribution, right? And this is what I want to explain here very quickly, right? Just so we realize a little bit of, I aggressively sold 25% here of my entire portfolio back in 2021 as we got this bounce to the upside, because I was, very much aware of that Wyckoff distribution schematic right over here. Okay, let me just put this down so we can actually see those three peaks, okay, that happened really nicely here. Okay, let me just get this right over here, and let's get the distribution schematic where you have that up thrust and then up thrust again to test the highs. You got classic three peaks, and obviously breaking down from the first higher low zone, okay, which was sitting right over here around about the $50,000 range, which was this movement down, was for me already a confirmation. I was seeing this as, okay, this is just going to get a small little bounce, and we're going to peak out here at some point and then roll back down. This is when I kind of, when you're trading to the upside, you don't want to sell, right? Yes, you're forming some double top, triple top, but the confirmation of the trend change was this breakdown. And I came out live and saying, guys, I'm selling 25% of my entire crypto portfolio except for Chainlink once we got this movement down, and as we were getting this bounce days after. I was saying, guys, I'm getting out. And that live stream, you can see it was at the end of April on my channel. And that was purely based of the market structure change, right? I think it's a good time. I was accumulating since 2018, beautiful rally during 2021, right? And it was like, okay, guys, this is just, hey, I'm in insane profits, and I need to sell some of my crypto. Not selling anything would be a bad decision. And it was a really good decision based on the market structure. So the question, your question right now is, we're living in unprecedented times, right? It's just very we could be on the verge of a super cycle. We have insane bullish news. We have the president's talking about Bitcoin, adding Bitcoin to, this is insanely bullish. This is some news that I want to talk about during the stream. According to Dennis Porter's sources, President Trump will announce a US Bitcoin strategic reserve. There's a speculation that, he's actually looking to back the dollar with Bitcoin. This is pure speculation without a doubt, okay? But he is a pro-Bitcoin crypto guy that we have been seeing during the last few weeks. And, could this be the verge of a super cycle? And we're going to see Bitcoin at much higher levels than we think, okay? So without a doubt, we are at all-time highs. We do have the bearish case scenario that we basically in a large ABC corrective move, we are going to see recession being hit sooner than we expect, right? Interest rates going down, that is when usually recession starts to kick in. And then we're going to see this ABC flat, either in a running flat or coming down to the lows, right? This is a scenario realizing that we are, on the verge of a recession, whether that happens in 2025 or 2026. We might get the bull run continuation before recession kicks in. But this is really speculation when we talk about recession and what could happen, right? But taking some profits at all-time high, if you are in decent profits, I would say 30% is a little bit aggressive. I'm easy. I would say 5 to 10% take profit because the market does look incredibly bullish, and we do have that reaccumulation schematic that is pointing out here very, very nicely. We have massive accumulation going on with the ETF. We've had 9 days straight of the US ETFs accumulated, right? We've seen, just 2 days ago, there was $422 million, all right, on Bitcoin ETF. Just yesterday, 84 million. It's been 9 days straight of just accumulating and accumulating, which is obviously pretty damn bullish if you ask me. And when you put some charts together, such as this one, with the reaccumulation schematic, right? Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic, guys. You can look at this up on Google or wherever. We're following the phases very, very nicely. So, higher time frame, everything points out that we should go higher, okay? We should be claiming those all-time highs. So let's go right away through. I want to really get the Bitcoin technical analysis out of the way, all right, on lower time frames. And analyze this local scenario, guys, because there are some very interesting levels to take into consideration for long positions and for short positions. I think we have been talking about this during the previous video, but overall, what are the most important levels of support and resistance that we do have on higher time frame? And this is as simple as just getting the range value levels, okay? Most importantly, we are inside of the value area zone that we formed since March, and this is incredibly bullish. We're back inside of the range. We formed this spring point right over here, and this is without a doubt bullish momentum, right? We're back inside of the range, meaning that point of control could be the next target to be hit in the coming days. If we do not hit that point of control, we need to consider the bullish case, which is, well, the lower time frame bearish case, which is retracing down here to the value area low, which is sitting around about $61,000. The $61,000 range, right, give or take a few $100s up, a few $100s down. We need to see that proof of support. We need to see price exhaustion and then consider a possible reversal. Without a doubt, this bullish case scenario, which would be short-term bearish, is having that pullback down to round about the low $60,000 range. And this is as if we are still speculating that we are getting another wave to the upside, right? Because you can clearly count just 3 waves here, okay? There's 3 waves to be counted here on the macro. Now the question is, of course, are we going to get that corrective structure a little bit more, a little bit more to the downside? Or have we finished this 4th wave here, which really would not make too much sense, but it is a possibility. And we're going to get that one last leg up here before we get into a deep corrective move, okay? If we are going to push to the upside in the next coming days to claim above $66,000 high that we created a few days ago, this for me, without a doubt, would be a topping zone, right? It's the topping zone. I will be looking for short positions quite aggressively at this range. It would be a day trade swing short position. I wouldn't take this short trade to come all the way down below $53,000. It's going to be a technical trading setup to at least come back down to this pivot low, right, at $63,000 and even $62,000 range. I would expect this area of higher lows to be claimed. That is, if we are going to push up from here, there is unfinished business to claim liquidity here beneath the $63,000 area. We can see that on the liquidity heat map. We are building quite a bit of liquidity here. Several hundred million, I would say even a few $billion if you count everything that is beneath $63,000. So without a doubt, if you are going to push up, you're going to start leaving a huge amount of liquidity here to the downside. So if we come and claim that liquidity before going to the upside, well, I am looking at this fourth wave scenario. I'm going to add up those confluence levels right away on the chart, okay? So you can realize, where are the bouncing levels? We have been talking about these levels during the previous stream, but overall, anybody that is new and hasn't realized, well, we're going to go through them right away on the stream as well. So if we were to get that pullback down, and speculate that we are forming a fourth wave to then get this explosive move, that is if the fourth wave low is not in already, which I would be surprised based on the shallow pullback, also this three-wave structure that we've formed, it would be extremely rare to find, this to be the bottom, right, to be honest. Because it's shallow not only based on Fibonacci retracement, it is shallow because of the timing as well. Timing here is very important, and when you take a look at the peak low to the peak high, it's very shallow in time. Okay, you get the Fibonacci timing tool here, and from that pivot low to the pivot high, we crossed the 382 timing, which is a minimum requirement based on a retracement. And the 1-to-1 is all the way here on Monday, okay, which would be nice, crossing the 1-to-1 to then get that reversal. So I'm a little bit skeptical on this being the low right there to start moving to the upside. I mean, we have hit the minimum requirement. We have hit the 382 Fibonacci, which is also a minimum requirement for a wave 4. So you could say, okay, well, it was just a shallow wave 4, and then we're just going to have to deal with it, right? And we're just getting that next move to the upside. But most commonly, you would want to see a wave 4 retrace in between the 382 and the 50%. This is where I would be willing to look for that, nice long position. Unless you're already in longs here, or you want to take a look at a next long trading setup. So it's the 382 to 50% Fibonacci. And, what is curious about this zone, right? About this possible fourth wave target zone, which is, the 382 and the 50% Fibonacci. 50% Fibonacci is where we do have the value area low of this entire trading zone. Incredible support, without a doubt. And we're adding confluence with this, speculating on that wave 4 structure, right, to get the next push to the upside. So without a doubt, the $61,300 is the zone of major interest, right? It could get choppy, but if the price does find some, proof of support, which is basically trading sideways for several hours at this zone, that is when we can start speculating that this could be the low, guys, right? We love when the price action is forming a consolidation. It's forming a stop from a major low. That is when you know that the price could reverse very aggressively. So we need that price action to stop at the 50% Fibonacci, which is where we have the value area low. Very, very important indeed for that level to hold. I'm going to go with the comment section, guys, in the next few minutes, okay? But I want to go purely on the possibilities that could happen for the next coming days, so you can absorb that information, right? Absorb the information and look for the trading setups for yourself, right, in the next coming days, realizing where, what scenarios we're looking at here. something curious that I've just marked up some levels. Long time since I have marked these kind of levels, and it's basically going to the monthly chart and the weekly chart. Okay, it is extremely important to mark these levels on the chart. I've been doing so during the last few years. I haven't been doing it lately because there's just so much to take into consideration when you're doing some charting analysis. But the previous day, previous month, and previous week levels, okay? The previous month and previous week levels are extremely important to mark on the chart, such as the previous month high, the previous month open, previous month close, previous month low, and also the previous week levels, okay? And this is what I've marked here on the chart. And something curious to see on the lower time frames when we take a look at the previous monthly levels or the previous weekly levels, as you can see these blue horizontal lines. What we do have here is the previous month equilibrium. Now, equilibrium means the 50% Fibonacci, nothing else. It's basically halfway through from the candlestick, right? When you take a look at the monthly high and the monthly low, the previous monthly high and monthly low, you have the center, right? The center of previous months and previous weeks is extreme good level of confluence. To add as confluence with a naked point of control, right? A high volume node, a 50, a retracement, a Fibonacci retracement on lower time frames. So when we do zoom in and we analyze these previous monthly levels, right? And what has happened during the last several days, right? It's pretty curious how these levels are very respected as resistance and as support. What do we have here that formed in the 16th of July, right? We had a major movement to the downside that got a bounce from the previous month close. The previous month close got an insane bounce after breaking out. You did get a bit of a reaction here, but then you have a massive move to the upside. You got a huge bounce from that previous month close. Then what do you have here is the previous month equilibrium that got resistance. You can see how the price is actually pulling back even $1,000. You're hitting that previous month equilibrium, which is the 50% Fibonacci in a nutshell, and you're rejecting from that level. You're rejecting from the level. So as soon as you break down, that previous month equilibrium is getting resistance. It got insane amount of resistance yesterday. Okay, so you want to consider them. You want to have them on the chart, right? These previous month levels, such as the open, the highs, the lows, the equilibrium, because you can add them as confluence. What I do like about seeing the previous month close is when we are speculating on this potential fourth wave creation, and a 382 is a common target zone, right? 382 to the 50% for a wave 4. That is where we have the 382 Fibonacci from this pivot low from the 12th of July. So the 382 Fibonacci is, slightly below that previous month close. It would be sweeping those lows for this liquidity grab, and it's without a doubt a really nice reaction bounce, okay? I would be a little bit cautious. You could get a bit of, if you are going to move down, you would be looking for, when we're moving down, guys, we know that you're fighting the trend, right? On higher time frames, it's going to be looking good. But what could happen at this level is chop, 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 right? And then get the reversal. So you could get several peaks, okay? And that is what we want to see. Don't get me wrong. That's what we want to see regarding a swing trade, right? That is what we want to see. We want to see proof of support, a bit of that choppy, and then we're saying, okay, this level is holding. The 382 is holding. We do have a sweep of liquidity here from these lows that we did form just between Monday and Tuesday, which is very disturbing, guys, without a doubt. Forming this higher low, it's pretty obvious that it's a liquidity grab zone. The price will come down to this level at some point. So whether it goes high to higher levels first and then down, it's just a really good level, guys. It's just a really good level. You can speculate for all of those scalp day traders that if the price rolls down to that level, you are just highly likely going to get an instant bounce reaction of several $100s. So those aggressive traders, you without a doubt want to set some alerts at these lows, because this is a classic low where you are going to get the price of Bitcoin just getting that wick and getting an instant bounce. And you're just going to have to be aggressive with taking profits at simple resistance levels, right? Get that sweep and then come back up. You need to realize that this might be a dead cat bounce. You're downtrending, so you're looking maybe for a double bottom or a breakdown. You don't know, but if you're long this level on the first touch, you want to take some profits on the bounce that you have, right? Because, hey, most of the times when you're in a downtrend, you claim a low, you claim a lower high, you come back down to the low, either for a double bottom or a breakdown. So not taking profits on that first jump, right? Trading setup after this liquidity grab swing failure pattern would be pretty foolish. You want to take some profits and be very defensive on that move. On the other side, could it be the low, and could you get a massive rally from this point, right? Without claiming those lows. I mean, it could also be you would want to have a little bit of that trade open just in case you get a kind of a V-shaped recovery, right? You always want to leave some open of that trade just in case the price does reverse. But like I said, this would be the zone that I would want to see that proof of support. Bang, bang, if you're starting to hit double bottom, you're consolidating here in a descending channel, wedge, whatever, it's likely going to be a small little reaccumulation and finding support to then get that movement to the upside. Now, the plan number 2 here is you just break down. You don't create any liquidity grab and the price just creates a huge, massive collapse down. Then obviously the next major level where you want to see proof of support is that 50% Fibonacci. The 50% Fibonacci going with the previous week and monthly levels. Okay, not only it is the 50% Fibonacci, we're talking about the $61,400. When we zoom out and take a look at the value levels here, the value area low of March and July, okay, almost 5 months here of a range, is sitting where we do have the 50% Fibonacci, right? If we're speculating on that wave 4. Big level of support. Let me just get that on the chart right away here. Okay, we do have the value levels from the range. Okay, it's getting a bit clustered right now with the levels, but hopefully you can follow me here. So we got the value area low from the entire range. We got the 50% Fibonacci from this nice wave to the upside if we're speculating in a wave 4, just in case we get that drop, guys. This is creating plans, okay? Because if we do get that drop, you're going to start thinking, oh my goodness, Bitcoin, that's it. We're going to extreme low levels. You need to see that proof of support here, and that is where we're going to take, the next trading plan potentially. Now, this 50% Fibonacci, this $61,300 to $400 range, what else do we have there? When we take a look at the previous week levels, it is the previous week highs. It is the previous week highs right over there. I mean, we've only got a few days till we finish the week, okay? But it's still, if we were to drop there, right, maybe Friday, it might end up bearish, right? During today, we could get that volatile move to the downside. This zone over here, previous week highs, is in confluence with the 50% Fibonacci and the value area low from the entire range between March and July. Okay, solid level to get a bounce. However, you cannot create a strategy here based on liquidity grab, based on a swing failure pattern. These lows are great. Like I said, you're likely going to get a nice bounce here, and it's a great scalp trade. You create the lows, you create that liquidity grab, you recover, stop beneath the low as you're recovering, and you gain into that bounce, okay? However, here we don't have really a big major level. We don't have a low, we don't have a liquidity grab zone. It's just in the middle of this big 4-hourly candlestick, okay? So it's in the middle right there. It's like, it might even slice through the zone. So what you want to see at this level is proof of support, meaning that you want to dance around at this zone, getting a reaction for several hours. And that is the moment you're saying, okay, we're getting proof of support here. This does look pretty good, and look for that, reversal, looking to get into some long trading setups as a swing trade with stop loss, give or take a bit of room, because remember, we are targeting here. You don't need to have an extreme tight stop loss. You just need a lower leverage, lower capital, stop loss, give or take a bit of room, because where you are targeting is the highs again above $66,000. That is if we are rolling down, okay? So, without a doubt, you get some proof of support. You get your stop loss, you can have it relatively far away, give or take a bit of room after seeing that proof of support, because you are targeting much higher levels, right? You don't need to find a 10-to-1 risk to reward. You're looking to manage risk, seeing the proof of support. Don't need to, get extremely aggressive here with a 50x and risking 20% of your capital. No, you're still maintaining that risk, 1 to 2%. You're using a 5, 10x leverage, okay, because you're looking for a relatively nice, powerful move. So that is basically the higher time frame scenarios that we're looking at here to maintain as support, okay? Now, what if the price just suddenly jumps up from here, right? Now the main question, what if, hey, you're looking at long positions from lower, but what if the price starts jumping up from here? And, for me, it would be quite complex, to understand this wave, right? Like I mentioned here with yesterday's update, for me, it was pretty clear that we were going to form a lower high at this point. But what is disturbing is that we haven't even hit the 1-to-1 extension, which is you want at least that level to be hit for an ABC corrective move. And this is where it's getting complex right now, guys, because if we shoot up from here, you might think, what's going on? We haven't hit a minimum requirement for a corrective structure here and an ABC. Obviously, you're not looking at an impulsive move down, obviously, here as a 3-wave. I mean, yeah, you could go with a contracting diagonal, but we're not going to go there just yet. So you might think, okay, what if we move up from this point? Isn't this a little bit too shallow for an ABC corrective structure, not hitting the 1-to-1 extension, which is sitting at 62,800? Well, this is, I'm coming with the idea that if we are going to push up from this level, this is still going to be part of a corrective move. And I would not say, that this is going to be an insane impulsive breakout. And that conclusion comes with a possible ABC flat structure. This is where it gets extremely complex, guys. Of course, I really don't like looking at the different several scenarios on Elliott wave theory, but you would be speculating on a possible ABC flat just because this movement that has happened during the last few days would be very shallow for an ABC. Especially the C wave. C wave is usually higher than the A wave. So you need to come to this conclusion that, if we are moving to the upside, I'm not buying it. Yes, we could hit $67,000 or $68,000 without a doubt, okay? But I would be extremely interested in looking for a short trade. And the conclusion to this, guys, and this is a win-win, right? There's two Elliott wave scenarios here based on the movement to $67,000 to $68,000, and they are both a win-win. It's like this level is going to get rejected no matter what, okay? Could it punch to 68,000? It possibly can. It could get a little bit volatile and get a big wick to the upside, but then correct. And we know that we have the point of control, which is the strongest level of resistance on a higher time frame, which is sitting at $67,200. Well, yeah, around about $67,000 basically. That level over there is in confluence to either be forming that ABC flat structure, topping out in a B wave at this point. I will be getting into a short trade here, guys. I can tell you that already. Now, I want to see the reaction. I want to see how I can manage risk here very carefully. But even though that this is not the scenario, even though the flat scenario for the fourth wave is just not going to be the case, and you are forming a fifth wave, it doesn't matter. It does not matter because you're already forming 5 waves. You either form 5 waves or you form, okay, or you're still in the formation of that fourth wave in an ABC flat, okay? And then you're going to get the push to the upside. So regardless, whatever scenario happens, getting up to $67,000, $68,000, it's going to pull back, right? It is going to pull back regardless, you know, if it is, you know, basically a flat structure or the fifth wave. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a level where I would be looking for a pretty decent pullback. Pretty decent pullback potentially to come down to the lows here where we do have $63,000, $62,000, maybe even lower. Because if you are looking for an end of a five wave, if it were to be the case of five waves, it doesn't matter because the target zones are clear. The target zones for the rejection of $67,000 to $68,000, or even double topping the highs created a few days ago at $66,200. The target zone is coming down to this level of $63,000, $62,000. It could be a much larger, because if we are speculating that this is a wave one, a wave two can be extremely powerful to the downside. You can retrace all the way down to the 7/8 Fibonacci. So this short trade has take profit one here and even a take profit two down, you know, down to fill the CME futures gap, right? Basically, because that CME futures gap, you know, would be round about the 61878 Fibonacci, right? 618 and even 78 is lower. So just imagine, you know, it would be natural. That would be the end of an explosive move up. It would be the end of this explosive move. And you are looking for a severe pullback before you possibly get continuation to the upside. This ain't going to break through in a straight line, okay? It's just unlikely. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen because anything could happen. And in a reaccumulation schematic, the next phase, which is basically the phase E right over here, D and E, things can get very explosive and those pullbacks are going to get very shallow, right? You could have a very shallow pullback as you're hitting the point of control, right? So, that pullback, I am concerned that if we are going to get a pullback after breaking through here to the point of control range, right? I'm concerned about this pullback. It might be quite shallow and you might continue to the upside. Nevertheless, I would be looking for a decent pullback of a few $1,000s that we can profit from, okay? Hitting this major confluence levels. So what is curious as well is that we have the previous month open. The previous month open, you can see it's at $67,500. Also something to consider as confluence to have on the chart. So previous month open, you just go to the monthly chart, right? And you zoom in and you can see that previous month open. It is a monthly level basically because you have the monthly close and open from May and June. So it's the previous month open. It's a monthly level basically. That is sitting at $67,500. That is just slightly above the point of control from the entire range. There's a lot going on here, and I would not believe that the price is just going to shoot up from this area like a hot knife on butter. This is going to get major resistance, and we do have the Elliot wave counts as well that is, providing us the possibility either in an end of a fifth wave right there or that ABC flat structure, as this corrective move seems like it's not finished. Okay, so regardless whatever happens, this zone is a rejection point without a doubt. That is if we are going to shoot up here during the weekend, right? During the next coming days. So anyway, that's a little bit of the higher time frame scenarios that I'm looking at here, guys, with the levels, right? Clean chart. And we can talk about lower time frames. We are getting a little bit of a push up here on Bitcoin. It does look like it does want to flirt around. I was really leaning on the camp of we still need to get one more push to the downside based on this ABC structure. I've been adding to the short position that I have on Bybit, and it's just slightly above this high. Maybe going to get stopped out here at break even from that short trade. Did add a little bit, believing that this high was not going to be taken and we were going to roll down. If it is going to be taken, I'm going to talk about several scenarios that that I do see here on the chart for a next trading setup locally. Of course, you are here because of that. You are here for the pure education and what would be the next setup with managing risk very, very well. So what is disturbing about this is this scenario, right? If we are looking at this as a corrective structure, we haven't hit the one-to-one extension, right? Minimum to hit as for a C wave, right? Or a third wave. So this is why I am leaning on, hey, if we are going to be pushing up from here, it wouldn't make sense for me to believe that this is, impulsive. All right. But we'll get to that on another update tomorrow or once we see that price action formation. What is very interesting, of course, about this area is the previous week and monthly levels, right? You got the previous monthly level here. Could it be a quick liquidity grab above these highs? When we do mark here the previous month equilibrium just a few days ago, we got beautiful resistance right there, but to the T, as you can see. Could it be a liquidity grab and we're going to get a pullback from this zone? I do like it for a quick swing failure pattern, to be honest. I like these highs. I like the liquidity zone. I would be extremely cautious because this could actually be quite punchy and we're breaking through. Okay, so it is resistance. We have seen proof of resistance the last few days. We could be having some pretty significant liquidity building up at that level. Okay, when we go to the lower time frames, let's go to the lower time frames here on the chart. We do have some liquidity up there at that level, which could be swept up and then get a pullback. Okay, there is a few hundred million right there, as you can see on the chart, just above those highs where we have the previous month equilibrium. So we could get a sweep of liquidity and a pullback before continuing to the upside. That is if we do hit that level, of course, right? That is if we do jump to that zone. Yeah, I'm going to go through the comment section. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, pure technical analysis, looking at the levels, the possible setups. Like I said, for me, this was quite surprising, to be honest, that we did not push down, but that is when you need to come with the other scenarios, right? Doing technical analysis and trading, you just need to, as soon as price action develops, you need to develop also the different scenarios. And for me, this would be a very, very shallow 1, 2, 3, right? ABC scenario. If we are going to jump up from here, I would still consider that this could be an ABC flat, right? And you're going to form that kind of double top right there, failed auction, and you're coming back down to sweep up these lows. There's unfinished business here to sweep up the lows. And that is purely based on the retracements that we've had coming all the way down to the 0.88 Fibonacci. From this pivot low, you front runned it. This is insane liquidity build right there. Also here, higher low, higher low, higher low. Hitting the 0.88 Fibonacci. This is an unfinished business zone. And even if the price were to come up from this point, without a doubt, I am looking at that scenario on the higher time frame, guys, okay? Of, looking for shorts to hedge the long position as well, right? Without a doubt, looking for those shorts to hedge some long positions already open. So, yeah, best scenarios, best levels are these ones mentioned. You got these higher lows right over here. Like I mentioned, with the 382, you have the previous month close. That is in confluence with the 382 if you're speculating on that fourth wave. And if you do smash through from that level, then you do have the previous week highs, which is in confluence with the 50% Fibonacci. Okay. There is a scenario here that maybe you have finished an impulsive move up. Right? That is when you go absolutely nuts with Elliott wave theory and you think, okay, you've formed a wave 1 right there, a wave 2, you formed a wave 3 here. This has been the fourth, and this has been the fifth. And what you're expecting now is a potential retracement all the way down to the 7/8 Fibonacci. And that's when you go bananas. That's when you go, okay, this has to be bearish if you retrace all the way down to $56,000, right? Well, no, not particularly. You can get a valid count here of 5 waves up. It's not the best looking based on timing, but you do have some local higher time frame peaks, and you can count those 5 waves. So that would be a wave 1, and then you're looking for a wave 2. I would just remain patient to see a range formation so we can get some clear trading up ideas, right? If that were to be the case and we're pulling down very, very aggressively, but we'll get to that as soon as that happens. For the moment, the levels of interest, there's a nice scalp long position here at this level. Like I mentioned, there is a nice, reaction zone to see if we do see proof of support at this level as well. 61,400, 50% Fibonacci. You got the previous week highs. This is a zone where we want to see that proof of support to then speculate, okay, this is holding. We could look for that swing long position. This is the end of the wave 4. We're looking for another rise to the upside to claim those highs from the last few days. But this is a zone where we'd have to remain patient, okay? This is an aggressive long. Boom, boom. Nice little scalp long liquidity grab. Okay, you could look for the double bottom as well. It might be the low. Local double bottom here would be a must as well. And this proof of support right there at the previous week high. And if you're breaking down from here, we're just going to have to come with the different scenarios, right? Which would be that finished wave 1 to the upside. And we're looking for a wave 2 to finish at the 618 Fibonacci or the 78 Fibonacci, or look for an ABC right there. And this is just going to be extremely bearish, but we are going to have to see some proof of support. The CME gap is very interesting. The top of the CME gaps usually get a lot of resistance as well. This was shared with you also, taking a look at the CME gap, all right, that we did have from 2020. We'd have to quickly go here to the BTC futures gap, all right? The top of the gaps on the CME futures, they do also provide support, okay? If you have the gap to the downside, you can see this top of the gap providing insane support right over here. And this is why you could consider the possibility of the top of the gap, okay, that we do have from the previous weekend to actually maintain as resistance. And when we do pull it out here on this chart and we analyze the CME futures gap, where we do have some, it's in confluence with some pretty decent support levels without a doubt, okay, which is the previous week close is sitting just at the top of the CME futures gap, okay, as well, which you can add as confluence, realizing that, hey, that level is going to get a reaction. It's going to get a reaction. You could see some proof of support right there, and you could get the bounce. When you pull out Fibonacci from this pivot low to the pivot high, speculating on a wave 4, it is in between 50% and 618. If you're speculating on a wave 4, that would be like the ultimate level that needs to hold, right? You don't want to pull back much more than the 50%. It would be the ultimate zone. And where you could find that support is at the top of the CME futures gap. But we need to see that reaction there, okay, to consider any longs if we were going to pull back down there. Other Fibonacci retracement obviously is taking it from the low that was created on last Friday to the highs created a few days ago. And yeah, your Fibonacci wise, you don't have really much Fibonacci confluence at the CME, okay? Futures gap. You do have it at the lows. So if you were to fill the CME futures gap, right, in the next coming days, you have the 618 Fibonacci, which is sitting exactly where we have the lows of the CME. It would be filling the CME futures gap. Usually the low of the CME futures gap does provide support. And you got the 618 retracement from the pivot low to the pivot high of this entire move. So without a doubt, the $58,000 area is also where we have some nice confluence based on the previous week levels. When we pull out the previous week and previous month levels, you can see how the previous month low is where we do have basically the low of the CME futures gap. Also the previous week equilibrium, right? We're going to close this week very soon, so we will have to get the previous weeks, right, when we start on Monday. Anyway, let's go right away with the comment section, guys, and analyze the local situation. Okay, I want to analyze the local situation here. Let's get the levels out of the way, and we can analyze the local levels of resistance and support to look for some scalp day trade opportunities that could happen in between today and tomorrow. Before we do so, I want to go through the comment section first of all, say hello to the beautiful community. Guys, remember also, if you are interested in trading, Bybit for me is the #1 crypto trading platform. This is where I do most of my trading. If you cannot trade on Bybit, you do have bluffing. It's a great alternative. You do have no KYC, just with an email and a password, you can start trading. And you do have the biggest bonus available, all right? Which is also supporting the channel, guys, of course. But you get the best bonus and one of the best exchanges out there, okay? Check it out. It's the third link down below in the description if you want to start trading on bluffing. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. Then we'll go through some local trading scenarios, guys. We're going to analyze here the value ranges and just analyze the price of Bitcoin, hear what is happening locally. So let's, great TA, says DR Davey. Thank you very much, my brother, for that insane comment. Very much appreciated. Sometimes I do believe that, I am providing value and I need that confirmation, of course, from the comment section. So let's go right away through comment section. I can see a lot of comments here. Jack Paper Hands, how you doing, my man? Let's go here. Hiwa, it says, come on, man, come too long together. It says Hiwa, okay. I'm short Ethereum and ADA. Dump it. I'm really not looking too much into altcoins, to be honest, regarding trading. Just focusing on Bitcoin during the last few days. Why do they work as support? Market is way too bullish. We got to have a quick move down. Yes, without a doubt. Okay, market is very, very bullish. I think this is very, very retail-y topping zone, right? So without a doubt, I think most retail would think that this is a topping point, okay? And then you would be very surprised if you claim the highs, right? You would be extremely surprised if Bitcoin does get a move up above $66,000, right? In the next coming hours, next coming days. That is the moment that obviously I would be looking for the pullback, okay? Just based on the Elliot wave theory that I explained, right? Even though if you were to finish a wave 5, it would make more sense that you're forming a flat structure. And that is purely based on this 3-wave move down that we've had. Very shallow. The C wave is extremely small. If we are going to push up here in a 3-wave structure, without a doubt, I would be speculating on a short trade to at least come down to this unfinished business that we do have here in between 62K and 63K. That would be the take profit one. Price, of course, could just slice through, but overall, this would be the take profit one to short as we do create the highs, because you could be forming the flat structure, okay? You could be forming that flat structure right over here, or you could be forming the 5th wave, and you are looking for that pullback as you're hitting the strongest resistance zone on the higher time frames, which is the point of control of the entire range, where we also have the previous month levels, right? Which is that previous month open. It's just, yeah, it wouldn't make sense to slice through this zone, guys. It wouldn't make no sense at all. You're at least going to get some kind of pullback here, consolidation from that level before continuing to the upside. If so, slicing through this level, then something is happening. Something is happening. But it would make sense also if the price were to slice through in the next 1 to 2 weeks here and go to all-time high based on the reaccumulation schematic. It's just this is a finished ABC on the higher time frames. You're creating that spring point. It could move relatively fast to all-time high, which I don't think is going to be the case. I am bullish, but I do see this happening in the coming weeks, not in the coming days. So overall, we're trading the charts, we're trading the waves, and trying to predict where are the levels to bounce and levels to reject. Okay, nothing else. I'm on 100x $50 short a couple of minutes ago. Well, you are shorting a little bit of an uptrend. We're going to focus here on lower time frames right away. Okay. Andy, thank you for the TA. Says Rich, I have a question. Do you think trading in inverse perpetual Ethereum is more profitable and makes more sense in a bull run than USDT perpetual? Absolutely yes. Yeah, trading the Ethereum or Bitcoin perpetual, which is actually using that Ethereum or Bitcoin, if you are longing, it's in your advantage. The main reason why is because as you're longing and gaining from that leverage position, your Ethereum bag is also gaining, right? So it makes sense to long Bitcoin or Ethereum using perpetual, basically using the Bitcoin or the Ethereum, because your bags are also gaining, you're also gaining by holding the bags, right? So if you trade Bitcoin right now at $64,000 and you place one Bitcoin for a trade and you're using a 10x leverage, you're going to gain on that leverage position, but you also, that one Bitcoin is going from 64,000 to whatever target it is, and you're gaining also with that Bitcoin or with that Ethereum, as it's what you're using for trading and it's gaining value as you're longing, right? So yeah, without a doubt, it makes sense to trade long with perpetual, inverse perpetual, and short with US dollar tether, right? If you are looking to speculate onto some short positions, you would want to use tether, right? Because if you're using Ethereum or Bitcoin, you actually, it's devaluating your position as well, right? So bullish retested. 145 likes, guys. Let's smash up that like button to new all-time highs. My goodness. Hey, I'm trying to provide, quality technical analysis, looking at several scenarios and levels, pure education, trying to predict the next movement and the next trading setups. And I need your support, legends. I'm just here for you, right? This is not here for me. I'm here for you guys, and I'm providing here this content and my time just for you guys. So I need a little bit of appreciation, just like smashing up the like button or even using some of the links down below for the exchanges, so I can continue here with this educational content. I'm in BTC long from 57K, 150x. You got to be kidding. You got to be kidding. I think I've never used 150x, not even for scalping. I've never used 150x leverage in my life. I've used 80x and 100x sometimes for scalping. But yeah, that is pretty aggressive, right? I'm not sure if that is true or not. But anyway, shout out to you. Be cautious. Andy, you might not do altcoins, but if you had to bet on one, would it be Solana or Ethereum? Solana, without a doubt, is it's the new Ethereum, right? Solana is the new Ethereum, but I would lean more into Ethereum as it's more decentralized. It is proper decentralized Ethereum more than Solana. There is some things about Solana that I'm not too confident about. Of course, risk to reward, you would get more reward on Solana, to be honest. I would have both in my portfolio, but I prefer Ethereum. I prefer Ethereum because it's more decentralized. Nathan gifted some memberships here. Absolutely wonderful. Successful retest on the bullish breakout. Let's take a look here at the just go with trend lines, right? Let's keep it simple here with the trend line. We have broken out from this lower high resistance trend line right over here. Oh no, wouldn't be too sure. We are hitting, if you're counting this one right over here, which is relatively shallow, you kind of retested that trend line right now, as you are mentioning here on the comment section. You got this lower high trend line right over here being tested as support, getting a little bounce now of a few $100s. Yeah, just $200 basically. But you are hitting a much higher time frame, lower high resistance. Yeah. Still trending down, to be honest. You're still trending down. It's a very, very complex area for me if you ask me regarding the waves, okay? What you're forming right now is a kind of a ascending, broadening wedge structure, which using pattern trading, it is a bearish pattern. An ascending, broadening wedge is bearish. However, it can be bullish if it's an expanding diagonal where you're forming 5 waves up, then that could be bullish and you could see continuation to the upside. So yeah, a bit confusing where we're currently at right now, based on patterns, right? And the bullish possibility. Really, really difficult zone at the moment, guys. I was leaning slightly bearish at this point, believing that, that you could be even forming a double 1-2 scenario here. 1-2, right? And you are forming another 1-2 right there. And you're just going to get an explosive third wave down during the weekend, right? This is also a possibility, a double 1-2 in a bearish case scenario. So yeah, it's really a little bit of a difficult point, okay? Without a doubt, it's a difficult area because you have multiple scenarios here. Could this be the end of an ABC? I don't see it. I don't see this the end of an ABC. This is very disturbing for this to finish here and start being bullish. It's not even hit the 1-to-1 extension. So yeah, I'm leaning on, this corrective move has not finished. There's unfinished business here to sweep up these lows. Regardless, if you do come up to the highs, this is why I would speculate on that ABC flat. Without a doubt. I will be shorting if we do get that $66,000, to $67,000 area hit in the next coming days. It's just, it makes a lot of sense that we are going to pull back from that zone, because this cannot be an end of a corrective structure, right? And you might think, hey, but we're breaking out, but we're hitting the new highs. Well, I'm going to say, look, there's extreme high probability that you're forming an ABC flat right there, and you're going to get another push down in a 5-wave move down here right there. Okay, you are looking for that ABC. Just because this corrective structure that has happened during the last few days, I'm not buying it. It's not ended yet. It's not finished. It is not finished. So yeah, not leaning bullish here. Regardless, we take the $66,000 high or not. This is classic. It's just a classic zone that we're gonna hit, guys. We're gonna hit this zone. You might think it's an head and shoulder structure as well, right? That it's gonna break down. I can tell you that these lows are going to be claimed in the coming days or next week. They are going to be claimed regardless if we form a lower high or we come and hit this high. If we come into this high, I will be happy to short. It would be a great opportunity for a trading setup, without a doubt. Like I explained at the beginning of the stream, guys, you will see that happen, right? And then we'll be talking about this on the next coming streams. So anyway, Nathan, my brother, thanks very much for joining. Would you long in the next coming days? Really, for me, the best levels to long regarding a swing long position, I have mentioned them. I'm not happy here myself to long this breakout of this trend. You can manage risk without a doubt. If you're a trend line breakout strategy trader, you would just have to manage risk accordingly, right? If you do break out from this trend line that you have formed the last few days, it's pretty simple to manage risk, right? Trend breakout strategy has to be the most simple strategy that there is, one of the most simple, and also could be very effective. You just need to put your stop loss beneath the trend line just in case you do get that, that fake out. Right? Give or take. You break out here, you retrace, you look for the long position. If you get back inside, well, it's obviously been a fake out. So I wouldn't be too sure about it, because I do really see the bearish case a little bit more powerful locally here. So for me, it is, I'm keeping it more simple. It's very disturbing. This zone is very disturbing at the moment regarding a trading setup. It is very disturbing. You have a multiple 1, 2, 1, 2, boom. You're going to create a third wave down. You have the flat scenario, ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the flat scenario forming a kind of a double top. This zone, I am shorting without a doubt. This is a high probability short trading setup. Whether you hit 50, 67, 68K or not, it doesn't matter. I will be watching very carefully. I will be doing a stream, obviously, looking for this scenario. But you stop loss above the high, you are targeting the lows right there, or even lower and even lower. So this is a high probability trading setup, without a doubt, without a doubt. So it's a matter of being patient to get the highest probability trading setup instead of just jumping into a long or into a short here locally. Of course, there are scalping opportunities, but we're talking about higher time frame here. And the next biggest levels of confluence, if we are speculating in a wave 4 formation, then it's the 382 and 50% Fibonacci, which we have the previous week and previous month levels as well as confluence, right? When we do take a look at the previous week and previous month levels, at the 382, you have the monthly close that you already got a bounce. You got a perfect bounce a few days ago. You do have the sweep of the lows with the 382 as well. It's this is a high probability scalp long setup. You are going to get a bounce of a few $100 at least from this level. You will see that, guys. We will come to the stream and we will come to see this level that we mentioned to get that bounce. Don't worry about that. It's likely going to happen. Okay. And the next level is the previous week high with the 50% Fibonacci. And I want to see proof of support. This is going to be difficult. I want to see the price dancing around at this level and saying, okay, guys, this looks good. We could be looking for those long entries at this zone, but we need to find proof of support, not catching a falling knife here at this level. Okay, even though you might get a quick instant bounce just purely based off 50% Fibonacci, previous week high. It's just, there's a likely scenario you're going to get a reaction bounce at that level, but would be risky to long a falling knife into that level. Let's continue. 182 likes. Let's go, baby. Smash up the like button, guys. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for the insane support. Glad that some of you, maybe not all of you, are enjoying the technical analysis and education here. Right. I'm bullish, says 𝗕𝗍𝗍. Absolutely. Bullish on the higher time frames, without a doubt. I am bullish also for all-time high to be hit in the next coming weeks. I wouldn't say days. I would say coming weeks. Everything points out that we are in a reaccumulation, and the data also really suggests, right, that we are in a reaccumulation zone because we have big things here. We do have the conference here in Nashville, Bitcoin 2024, which Donald Trump will be attending, and he has he has something to announce regarding Bitcoin. Obviously, going to the conference. Very big, guys. This is absolutely, without a doubt, huge. And we have the ETFs as well, accumulating like crazy. The inflows have been crazy. 9 days in a row of inflows, okay? This is bullish long term, right? Mid-long term. What we also have here, which is, guys, this data is pretty crucial to understand. And this is not sentiment. This is not opinion. This is data. This is actual data. And we need to follow the data as well, which is extremely important to understand the bullishness that we do have for the next coming weeks, regardless retracements to 58K or 60K. It doesn't matter. It's bullish mid-long term. Retail investors' demand is at 3-year low. When retails are not in, that is bullish. It's period. That's it. If retail is not in, and on the data we have, it's at the 3-year low, which is insane, which is basically from the previous bull run. It's measured by the 30-day change in total transfer volume in transactions under $10,000, right? Retail. when you do take a look at this chart, and oh, you probably can't see it, but anyway, you're basically at a 3-year low. When you at so low right over here, the last time we were this low, okay, let me just get this out because I'm in the way right now. I can't get the circle out of the way. But basically, the last time you were at this low was back in the summer of 2021 in June, where we got an epic bounce and we went all the way up to all-time high. When we were this low, okay, the last time we got a huge major rally inside of the bear market, all the way up to all-time high. The next stage, obviously, we did get a nice, relatively good bounce. Okay, this was at, it was at the extreme low levels, retail, and then we got a pretty solid big bounce. Okay, we still continued to the upside, to the downside months after, but we were inside of a bear market. We were coming from a macro bullish cycle the last couple of years. So yeah, this was in bear market, but the bounce happened. And then the last one that we had was as soon as the ETF approval happened, we got a big major corrective move and retail lost interest. We got a big movement down here, as you can see. And this was exactly where we had the ETF approval. Okay, the correction move from the ETF back in January. We plummeted. We went down. And we had an epic rally, obviously. Epic rally in between January, February, March. We had an insane rally going from the $40,000 range all the way up to all-time high, basically. Right? So the demand zone right now, when you do take a look at it, it's at extreme low levels. Retail demand is at 3-year lows. Every time we've seen this being at so low, all right, retail demand, retail not in, that is bullish just by itself. We've seen epic bounces happening on the price of Bitcoin. This is data, this is real, and this is extremely bullish for the mid-long term. When you get retail extremely FOMO and getting in, well, that is when you do get the corrective move. So without a doubt, this chart is to take into consideration. Let's go right. So yeah, it's something that I wanted to point out, guys. This is why this scenario is extremely high probable. Okay, there's extreme high probability that we're going to see this happening. So yeah, this is just something that I wanted to point out. Obviously, okay. What we do have is BlackRock. For some reason, the last few days is accumulating like crazy. We do see BlackRock has purchased over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin this month, including 107 million today, right? This was in between yesterday and today. A total of 18,600 Bitcoin just in the month of July, which is, hey, this significant amount of accumulation going on, right? Just with BlackRock. So anyway, how do we know nothing has been processed yet? Could the CrowdStrike IT outage be a potential black swan? Black swan, maybe recession. Yes, possibly. How come retail will be in after spending 2 cycles? Every retail became a whale. No, absolutely not. Hey, how can every retail be? Well, no doubt retail from a few years ago, yeah, it can be whales now, without a doubt. But there is still millions, hundreds of millions of people that are just getting into Bitcoin and crypto now, guys. There's not even over 500 million people using Bitcoin that have purchased Bitcoin, not even 500 million. I mean, it sounds a lot now, but with the world having over 8 billion people, that is basically not even 10%, right? So we would be expecting 20-30% of people using Bitcoin in the coming years. So you got a huge massive wave of more retail people jumping in. You guys watching here, of course, you've been here in the game for quite some time, but there's a lot of new people, but they're not interested right now. We can see that on data. We have the data that people have lost interest. Don't worry, when we break all-time high and we start seeing Bitcoin news everywhere, well, obviously you're going to see a lot of more Bitcoin in socials. Retail is FOMO buying top and panic selling bottoms. People never learn. Yes, exactly. So yeah, we see it on the data. Okay, so there's a big wave still of retail that needs to jump in at some point. There's not even 500 million people using Bitcoin and crypto worldwide. I think it's around about 400, right? In between 300 and 400, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's what we got. Has CVD on the 3-minute to 5-minute just flipped bullish? Let's take a look at CVD divergence right away. Why not? We do take CVD into consideration, and let's take a look at the CVD divergence in between the 3-minute and 5-minute. Have we flipped bullish? It does look like we're getting a lot of selling pressure from Bybit, okay? Bybit retail. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is actually pretty insane. We got some pretty insane bullish CVD divergence. It does look like that those highs want to be claimed again. Okay, those highs that have been created the last few minutes. All right, looks like we could have a high chance. We're just about to form bullish CVD divergence also on the rest of exchanges as well. But we are hitting a higher time frame level of resistance, right? Let me just analyze here. We are hitting that lower high resistance trend line. We are in a downtrend. So, you know, we are trending down for the last few days. So would be a little bit cautious at the moment. We've had a nice little pump during the last few hours. And we are hitting some pretty strong local resistance. Let's take a look at the previous day value levels. Yeah, nothing much. We were basically in the middle from the previous day value levels. Yeah, an interesting fact here is the previous day point of control and previous day value area high. If you are going to get that breakout from this lower high resistance, you got some local resistance. I do like these highs from yesterday. The previous day highs is where we have the previous day value area high. This is a nice short scalp. If you were to come and hit that level, it is a very much acceptable short scalp day trade because you're just moving into a huge level of resistance. It's the 618 Fibonacci as well from this entire drop. High confluence level, the 65,100. You highly likely going to get a nice pullback of a few $100s. Beautiful for a nice scalp, managing risk with stop above the high, stop loss, just looking for that retracement. And depending on the breakout, I mean, this might be bullish. You might retrace and continue up, but nevertheless, it is a short trade. You got a nice little scalp here based off the confluence, 618 Fibonacci from the local drop. Previous day highs and previous day value area high is sitting right over here. Beautiful for a liquidity grab. I mean, we do have a few 100 million on short liquidations exactly at that high, right? So yeah, the 65,100 is a liquidation grab and a pullback, and you'll be facing some technical levels of resistance right there. So it is a nice scalp short level. 5-minute uptrend lost. Yeah, I'm really skeptical, guys, about this price action. For me, it right now is very confusing. It is extremely confusing. You know, I would not want to enter a trade at the moment. I mean, we've just tested the highs from today. You have created a little bit of a double top, right? Where we slightly front run the top. Top has been front runned, right? When we do get a magnet and we get a horizontal line, we haven't even tested those highs. Meaning that it could also, with the bullish CVD divergence, I mean, this uptrend could continue. We could continue. You're forming massive bullish CVD divergence on all exchanges right now, confirmed. So you could form a higher low. I mean, for aggressive scalpers, CVD is crazy right now at the moment. You have insane lower lows on the CVD locally. Not too much on the rest of exchanges, but it's still bullish. Still forming lower lows right there on all exchanges. And you haven't claimed those highs. For any aggressive scalper, I would keep it simple here. I wouldn't go too crazy. Stop loss here beneath these local lows and look for those highs to be claimed again, as you have retraced all the way up above the 0.88 Fibonacci. You know, I think there's a high chance that we could claim those highs. Yeah, we've front run those highs. You're forming bullish CVD divergence. Looks like that this uptrend momentum could actually continue till we hit that high to see if you're going to break out or create the fake out, right? That would be the moment to check to see what the next trading decision. Because if you successfully break out from this point with high volume, it will be looking pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to get some continuation to the upside, at least to sweep up these highs. That is only if you do get a solid breakout, and the retracement would be interesting to look for a long position. And it might not get very much of a retracement. Usually when you get these breakouts, you don't give retail that opportunity to get in to the long position. You just break out, consolidate, and continue up. So yeah, overall, I think the best scenario would be these lower highs right over here. Previous day value area high looks pretty interesting for a nice little short scalp. High confluence level. You got 618 Fibonacci, guys, the highest, the most respected Fibonacci retracement, which is sitting right there. And you also have the previous day value area high and the previous day highs, basically. Previous day highs is this one. So boom, you got a bunch of liquidity that we can see on the heat map. And it would just be a really nice, quick, short scalp. Stop loss above the high. You're looking for that pullback of a few $100s. Would be eyeing the VWAP for a take profit zone, or even some local levels of support, which would be the highs created during today. If you do get up there and you pull down, without a doubt, this would be a take profit zone, because it could be a successful breakout and you could get that continuation to the upside. So, yeah. Could we see volatility on New York session open? Absolutely, yes. Regarding news, we don't have any news today. No news on Monday or Tuesday. When we do have news is on Thursday and Friday next week. Durable goods we do have on Thursday, GDP growth, and on Friday we do have personal income and personal spending on Friday. So we could see a little bit of volatility next week. We don't have much news these days. So overall, isn't BTC also touching the trend line coming from $56,000 12th of July? Wow, let's take a look at that scenario. 12th of July trend line. Let's take a look at that. Aren't we touching that trend line? Yeah, we could be hitting a higher low support trend line without a doubt. 12th of July, higher low support trend line. Depending on where you're putting this trend line, right? The thing about putting trend lines, guys, it's very, very, it could be this one. I mean, yeah, you could say where are you taking the next higher low, right? Maybe this one right there, okay? Maybe you got this trend line. If you have so many higher lows, you might think, well, you're hitting this one from the 12th of July. You got 3 pivot points touch, and you are hitting that level. So yeah, you could arguably discuss you are getting supported from this higher low support trend line. You're getting that reaction. If you break down from here, then obviously you would be expecting a volatile move down, right? If we do move down, I expect a pretty punchy price action move down of a couple of $1,000 at a minimum, right? To sweep up these lows and even go to lower levels if you break down from here. But yeah, we are getting supported. You could arguably discuss, I'm really not much of a trend line guy, but yeah, you could arguably discuss that, yeah, you are getting a little bit of support from this high-low support trend line. Indian crypto exchange 𝗬𝗬𝘃𝗿 has just got hacked, lost 234 million, almost 50% of the assets. Wow, yesterday, jinx, absolutely crazy. We got an Indian exchange getting hacked yesterday by the looks of things and losing over $134 million. Absolutely crazy. Legends, thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Hopefully you have enjoyed the pure technical analysis. We could be getting that bounce right now to claim those highs. We are forming very aggressive bullish CVD divergence. We're already getting a small little reaction bounce on the lower time frames here. And we could be claiming those highs as we just created a front run, okay? Quite aggressive, long position. If you ask me, I would keep it simple. Regarding stop loss, if you're trading the divergence, targeting those highs, Right now, for me, this is really for me personally, a no trading zone. For me, it's a no trading zone. I am aware of the 1, 2, 1, 2. And if it does break down, we're looking for an explosive move down in a third wave. And I am, looking at the scenario also for a flat structure, okay? To claim the highs, really right now where we at, really not too interested in taking a trade setup. The most important levels for me for my next trading decision, unless I'm doing analysis with the Legends trading community here for local setups, is this high right over here for that flat scenario or the end of a fifth wave, and then looking for these lows to be claimed. That is if they're not claimed in between today and tomorrow. These lows, oh my goodness, you're going to get a bounce here, guys. Even though if it comes back down, a bounce will happen from that level. I will set some alerts here to get into a scalp long setup right there as we sweep the liquidity beneath these lows. And if you slice through the levels that I'm looking to hold as support, like I mentioned, is the 50% Fibonacci. We need to form a nice consolidation range. That is where we do have also some previous month levels, okay? We do have the previous week levels. Previous week high is sitting at 50%. We do have a little bit of an order block right there, as you can see as well. Okay, so we've got a nice little order block here. It is a range that we're likely going to get some reaction. Some reaction is going to happen right there. So yeah, not much more here regarding higher time frame levels. Bitcoin getting that push up here as we are getting that, aggressive bearish CVD divergence to claim those highs very likely in the coming minutes. Legends, I'm going to wrap it up. Stay safe with your trading. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you in the next one.